We've been staying at Walt Disney World Resorts for about 20 years now, and I think we've found the perfect Disney resort. Only, it's not a Disney resort. Right in back of Hotel Plaza Resorts is Hyatt Regency's Grand Cypress Resort. And it's got everything that a Disney resort has, except the Disney price. Let's go over it. McCall in the lobby, check. Restaurants, check. Recreational equipment, check. Hot tubs, check, check. Pool, check, 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 and check. Disabled accessible room with a view, check. Now, they are still taking precautions for COVID-19, so not everything is open. Most notably, their signature restaurant, Hemingway's. The lobby itself is beautiful, and the glass elevators provide a breathtaking view of the lobby and the grounds. I asked for a handicap-accessible room with a roll-in shower as high up as they could give it to me, so after checking in, we headed up to the 10th floor.
Is that the size TV you wanted?
We rated our room right up there with some of the deluxe rooms that we've stayed in at Disney. But get this, with my veterans discount, we paid $104 a night plus resort fees and taxes. And if you got a handicap plate or placard, parking is located right by the front door and it's free. If you don't, it'll cost you an additional $25 plus tax for each night. Okay, well, back in the room. No tight hallways here. There's plenty of room to maneuver a wheelchair. And the tiny balcony meant I could get a pretty good view even from my wheelchair. If not for the sandstorm, we would have had a pretty good view out towards the coast. The 65-inch TV left me wanting more. More at my house. You know, one in my studio, one in each bedroom, and yeah, I guess one in the master bath as well. But be careful buying movies. They're advertised as costing around $17 to $20 each, but after fees and taxes they showed up on my bill as $30. And I didn't pay the extra to get the download code. That being said, they had an excellent first run in recent movies in their catalog. Being that there were 2 beds in this room, I figured I'd give Jean a break and take my snoring to a separate bed. The nightstand, and yes, I'm using air quotes, was tiny. My ResMed AirSense 10 barely fit. It was even harder to get my hand under there to shut off the machine in the morning. Now, if you have a bigger CPAP, you're either going to have to set it on the floor or bring over a chair from the desk. After you plug that in, you're left with only one outlet, and I needed that plug for my wheelchair, so my phone had to be plugged in over to the desk. The desk itself has a computer workstation and plenty of power and USB charging sockets. So plenty of sliding door space and a mini beverage fridge. Since there were 2 of us staying at the room for 3 nights, the hotel staff had already put 6 bottles of complimentary Aquafina water in the fridge for us. In the wide hallway, there is a closet for your hang-up clothes. And just remember, we're on vacation, so it's a place for us to store our luggage. It does come complete with a safe, and it shares a rolling door with a handicap-accessible bathroom. Yep, no more having to hold the door open when you try to maneuver your wheelchair through the doorway. The bathroom itself has plenty of room to turn your wheelchair, unlike most of the other restrooms on property. In the shower, there are 2 controllers for the shower heads, so you can keep the rain head going while you use the handheld or share with a friend. I'm not judging. Anyway, the bathrooms have plenty of handrails, and I put them up against anything at Disney. See? I told you we were high up! After getting settled in, we headed downstairs for dinner. Their signature restaurant, Hemingway's Steak and Seafood, is temporarily closed, so for breakfast and dinner, it's Lake House. Itself, a limited menu. The first night I did my steak challenge. The steak was good, but just a bit overdone. Jean went with the grass-fed burger. She was not a fan of the fries, although when she got the crab cake sandwich another night, she said those fries were good. All Also on the menu are some of Hemingway's dishes and a variety of pizzas. We didn't have any trouble being seated, but I still made sure we had reservations. They always wipe down the tables between guests, but I didn't notice any special cleaning, and I didn't see them wiping down the waiting area seats at all. On weekends, they still have a buffet, and there are a reduced number of food stations and staffs on hand to plate your choices. Oh, they also had a rotating menu of desserts. Before we leave the lake house, let me introduce you to Abe. Abe's worked at Grand Cypress for 17 years, and he turned a good visit into a great visit. Thanks, Abe. During lunch, well, the lake house is closed, but there are a couple other options for lunch. Option number 1, you can head to the Grand Cypress's Grab and Go, the market. I don't usually go for prepackaged sandwiches, but I gotta admit my ham and cheese on a pretzel roll was pretty good. But teamed up with a bag of chips and a can of soda at resort prices, well, it added up to about the same as a sit-down meal. The market has plenty of snack foods and candy as well as Starbucks coffee. You can even spike your coffee with Bailey's for only $6. Your other option is the On the Rocks Pool Bar. We, meaning I, picked up an order of chicken tenders and a basket of fries to split with Gene. Now, the biggest problem I have with On the Rocks is that there is no mobile order. Now, I've never been a big fan of mobile ordering, especially at Disney, mainly because I lose my annual pass holder discount when I use it. But it's different when you're in line where it's surface of the sun hot outside. Depending on how many people are in the resort, the lines can be fairly long. And most of the people at the pool don't realize that there are staff members taking food and drink orders by the pool. And you can just sign for it, even running a tab if you want to. Now, we've already mentioned that Hemingway's is closed, and I really can't wait for it to open so I can give it a try. But there are other closures, such as the lobby bar, Trellises. And since most weddings and conventions have been canceled, most of the meeting rooms remain vacant. The wedding pavilion looks like it's ready to go, just needs some chairs, as well as the Grand Cypress's special dinner venue, the Wilderness Area. This special venue is awesome. It's set up as an Old West village. The Wilderness Area can seat up to 1,000 guests and even has a stage for live entertainment as well as an on-site corral.
Now, don't y'all worry, it's a good distance from the resort, so the hootenanny won't wake you if you ain't invited.
Now, if you do decide to check out the Wilderness Area, use caution, especially in a wheelchair. There are plenty of uneven walkways, a quick drop off the side, and a bank section that made me feel like I was slipping out of my chair, and I don't travel with a left arm on it. Most places look like access was an afterthought. There are ramps, but if you're headed to the pool from the lobby, you have to travel around the entire convention center and out to the parking lot. Yep, there's always one comedian in the bunch.
I know how hard it is to get those things going again.
Well, we're not so sure about the steering.
It's far easier if you just use the elevator down to the lake house and use the lower exits. Okay, we've made it to the pool, so let's talk about it. But first, you need your wristband. The brightly colored band is issued to all guests at check-in, and you need it to take part in any of the recreational activity at the Grand Cypress. And all these activities are free. Yep, free. Well, included in your resort fee anyway. So, whether you want to let your kids pedal you across the 21-acre Lake Windsong, or you want to exercise your tries and buys paddling a kayak or canoe, or if you're looking for a more relaxed time, you can try a paddle or pedal boat. You can even take the whole family out, provided there's only 4 of you. Now, just past the dock is the bicycle shed with Surrey bikes or standard bikes to explore the 1,500 acres of Grand Cypress's property. Right next to the bike shed is a 24-foot rock climbing wall, and if it wasn't still closed, I would have totally have done that. Now, if you continue down the walkway, you come to the Grand Cypress Pitch and Putt, complete with a 5-hole miniature golf course that you can play. Again, it's free-ish. Further out on the property, there are 12 tennis courts along with basketball and sand volleyball courts. Now, for those of you who play golf, Grand Cypress has its own courses, and they provide complimentary transportation right from the hotel. Inside the pool's grotto, there's a health club with the latest in fitness equipment, including the Peloton bikes that, for some reason, YouTube keeps showing me ads for. And right around the corner is the guest laundry, but more importantly, the game room. Okay, now we've skirted all around the pool, but let's just dive in. Although there are 4 distinctive pool areas, there are really only 2 individual pools. The main 800,000-gallon pool has 12 waterfalls. By far, my favorite section of the pool is the grotto. I mean, just riding in a wheelchair, I could feel the temperature drop as I went in. Oh, and there's also a hot tub under there. The biggest problem I saw at the pools was the fact that there are only 2 entrances that don't have steps. As a matter of fact, there is no ramp directly to the quiet pool. To gain access, you have to go through the grotto, and it's a tight hallway. That hallway is also where the pool restrooms are located, and they are not in any way accessible. The handicap restroom is located in the health club and requires a long, convoluted route to get there. I mean, if you're starting from the quiet pool, you literally have to go around the entire pool just to get in. Oh, and make sure you brought your room key with you. But the pools themselves are great. Oh, that second pool? Well, that's the location of the 28-foot water slide. A great ride on a hot day. It just had me a bit concerned about the lack of lifeguards and the lack of parents' common sense. A kid that relies on water wings shouldn't really be in a pool where the water's over his head and the parents aren't around. I mean, this isn't Hyatt's fault, but guess who's going to get sued? Oh, and Hyatt, you might want to fix that. Another cool option at the pool are the available cabanas. With costs starting at $100, you get reserved covered seating, a designated staff server, a flat screen TV, and a mini fridge complete with 8 bottles of complimentary water. Oh, and for a few dollars more, they even have a cabana in the rock wall next to the pool. Just like a Disney resort, there are shuttle buses to Disney Springs, and after the parks reopen, there will be shuttles for that also. But you might not want to leave the resort, and who could blame you? The Hyatt Regency Grand Cypress is gorgeous. Sculptures are all over the property, along with a number of water features. Including the 2 social distancing dogs over by Hemingway's. And for those of you that were wondering, the Grand Cypress does have its own helipad right out in front. The Grand Cypress has its own store called Accents, but it hasn't yet reopened. So, if you just have to take something back home, I'd suggest visiting Red Shelf. Not at the resort, but on Etsy. There you'll find some of the most awesome custom handmade jewelry available, and yes, I mean handmade. Now, this is not my Etsy store. It's my daughter's. And I highly recommend it. I mean, what can I say? The girl's talented. Yeah, the Hyatt Regency Grand Cypress Resorts delivers everything you come to expect from a Disney resort. Only, it's not Disney. A little disclaimer here. I realize that the rate that we got was highly influenced by their reopening during the COVID-19 pandemic, and the fact that I'm a Florida resident and a disabled veteran, I don't really know what the regular rate is for these rooms, but I gotta tell you, the deal we got, and maybe you can too, was far cheaper than anything we've ever paid at Disney, including the All-Star Resorts. really hope you enjoyed this video and that you'll give it a big thumbs up. And if not for me, do it for Abe. And if you'd like to see more of this kind of video, why don't you just go ahead and subscribe? It's free. All you have to do is click on that red subscribe button below. And remember, when you do subscribe, don't forget to click on that bell icon. That way you'll be notified the next time I upload a video. Maybe. It depends on what mood the YouTube computer's in that day. That's just one of the reasons I need you to join the As Bob Sees It team as a patron. Just head over to patreon.com/AsBobSeesIt. And for as little as $1 a month, you can help us make more videos just like this. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.